In this video I'm gonna be showing you how to play Warhammer 40k 10th edition in under 7 minutes. Let's start the timer. In order to play this game you need two armies. In this case we have the Imperial Guard, your normal everyday humans with less guns pitted against Gene Stealers. Some terrifying Tyrannid creatures who want to destroy these humans and collect their biomass. You'll also need a tape measure displaying inches and some 6-sided dice. So before we start we need to determine who goes first. To do this, both players roll a 6-sided die and whoever rolls the highest gets the start. So in this case, the Guardsmen roll a 3 and the Gene Stealers roll a 2, so the Guardsmen get the start.
Guardsmen, equip bayonets! Be ready for blood!
The Guardsmen will start off their turn by moving. To determine how far they can move, we look at their index card. Normally, these Guardsmen would want to stay as far away as possible from these Gene Stealers. However, their guns get an extra shot if they're within 12 inches. So I will move them slightly closer so they're all just within 12 inches of these Gene Stealers. As you can see, all of them are now within 12 inches, and we move on to shooting. To determine how many shots each of them get, we look at their index card and see how many attacks their las gun has, which in this case is 1. However, like I mentioned, they have a special rule called Rapid Fire 1, meaning if they're within half range of their weapon, so 12 inches, they will get an extra shot in their gun. So in this case, for 10 Guardsmen, they'll get 20 shots. However, one of them has a las pistol. This is a pistol which is just as strong as the las gun, however, it only ever gets 1 shot. So in this case, for these 10 Guardsmen, we get 19 shots. To determine how many of these shots will hit, we'll need to look at their ballistic skill, which in this case is a 4+. So on a roll of 4 or higher, each of these rolls will be a hit. As you can see, the Guardsmen have 7 hits. Now we need to check whether the las guns are strong enough to wound these Gene Stealers. To do that, we look at the strength of the las guns and we compare it to the toughness of these Gene Stealers. In this case, the strength of the las guns is 3 and the toughness of these Gene Stealers is 4. If we have a look at the table over here, we can see that if the strength and toughness were to be equal, you need to roll a 4+ to be able to wound. However, in this case the strength is lower than the toughness of these Gene Stealers. So these Guardsmen need to roll a 5 or higher to be able to wound these Gene Stealers. As you can see, 2 of the hits were turned into wounds. Now before these Gene Stealers actually start losing these wounds, they still get a chance to save them. And if we look at their save characteristic on their index card, we can see they get to save these wounds on a 5+. So we roll each of these dice, and on a 5, one of the wounds is saved. In this case, 1 is saved and 1 wound goes through. Each of the Gene Stealers has 2 wounds and the damage characteristic of the las gun is 1, meaning one of these Gene Stealers loses 1 life. Now the Guardsmen get to charge and fight. However, like I mentioned, they don't want to get any closer to these Gene Stealers, so they'll end their turn here. And now we move on to the Gene Stealers' first turn.
The Tyrannids, the Great Devourer.
And like I mentioned, they do really want to get close to these Guardsmen. So we look at their index card to see how far they can move, which in this case is 8 inches. And now these Gene Stealers get to shoot. However, if we look at these models, they only have claws and talons, so they can't shoot, and we'll move on to charging. To be able to fight, these Gene Stealers need to be within 1 inch of these Guardsmen. So to determine how far they can charge, we roll 2 6-sided die and add the result. A 4 and a 6, so in total 10 inches, which is more than enough to close the distance to these Guardsmen. Since these Gene Stealers made a charge, they get to fight first. And to determine how many attacks they have, we look at their index card and you can see they have 4 attacks each. So 5 Gene Stealers, 4 attacks each means 20 attacks in total. These Gene Stealers are a lot better at fighting than these Guardsmen, so if we look at their weapon skill, we can see all of these attacks hit on a 2+. Only 4 ones, so that means 16 hits. The strength of their claws and talons is 4 and the toughness of these Guardsmen is only 3. So if we look at this table once again, we can see that if the strength is higher than the toughness, In this case we don't wound on a 5 but on a 3+. So we roll each of these hits again to see how many wounds we get. Ooh, it looks like we got quite a lot of misses. And the Gene Stealers only get about 7 wounds. Now, just like the Gene Stealers, these Guardsmen get a chance to save these wounds. However, if we look at the class and talents of these Gene Stealers, they have an armor penetration or an AP of -2, meaning a 2 is subtracted from each of the saving throws for these Guardsmen. And these Guardsmen only have a save characteristic of 5+, meaning they need to roll a 7 in order to save these wounds, as 2 is subtracted from the results. However, on a 6-sided die, rolling a 7 or higher is simply not possible, so all 7 of these wounds go through. These attacks have a damage characteristic of 1, and each Guardsman only has 1 life, meaning 7 of them die. However, not all is lost for these Guardsmen, as now they get to fight back. However, they're not very good at fighting, and they only have 1 attack each. And to make things worse, they only hit on a 4+. As you can see, they only get 1 hit, and now the strength of their close combat weapon is a 3, and the toughness of the Gene Stealer is a 4, so we still need to roll a 5 to be able to wound. And as you can see, this Guardsman didn't even get 1 single wound in close combat against these Gene Stealers. Now we move on to the next turn of the Guardsman. However, in this scenario, they can't really shoot in their next turn as they're still in close combat, meaning they don't stand a chance of winning this and they might as well give up. So in this case, the Gene Stealers win. I hope this video helped you get in your first game of Warhammer 40k. Be sure to leave a comment down below if you want to see more videos like this, and check out the description where I left a link to the full core rules which you can download for free from the Games Workshop website. Thanks for watching.